it's not the U.S. economy that's going to determine whether there's a problem in energy or one of these things, or whether there's a problem in demand for copper. Well, the real issue is it's China, right? So China's the guy. He's the 800-pound gorilla in these businesses. And the Chinese economy's been in a recession for 2 years, right? The construction business imploded there 2 years ago. The lockdowns from COVID were over a year old. So, there are all these hurdles that are, have occurred in the Chinese economy that therefore has slowed a lot of, because that's what we think is, if you look back to 21, right, in the middle of 21, that's when energy prices really took off, right? So it didn't happen in February of 22 when Russia invaded Ukraine. It really happened 9 months before that. And what was really happening 9 months before that, we would point out, we think, is that in China, there was a very different thing at the beginning of COVID, right? So the rest of the world, we all ran inside, locked our doors, didn't go anyplace, didn't do anything. And something like energy consumption was clear, like oil, went from 100 barrels a day to 90 barrels a day. So there was a huge compression in consumption. And that pretty much happened around the world, except it didn't happen in China. In China in 20 and 21, demand and consumption of oil, gas, coal, electricity increased in both of those years. So economic activity persisted there when it wasn't anyplace else. And what really happened by the middle of 21 was, there were a lot of things, right? The Chinese government said, shut down the smelters because the smelters just consume too much electricity. And we just don't have the electricity. We don't have enough coal to put in them plants to burn to get the electricity. So they were short of energy. And so that's what really, we think, kind of caused energy prices to dramatically increase. So even in Europe, oil and gas and coal prices, dramatically increased. Of course, it was compounded by the fact that eventually when Russia invaded and the availability of the supply of gas, but that happened before. So I actually think that the world is actually, generally, its demand for energy and its appetite for energy is substantially beyond the capability in a normal economic environment for the world to supply that.